everybody, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're going to focus in a little bit more in depth on the borderline narcissist. I have a lovely viewer who sent in an article that describes very much in depth and detail of the relationship mishap that he had encountered with a personality disordered individual. And it's been a very painful journey and really was witness to some very bizarre behaviors. And the borderline narcissist does indeed engage in some very bizarre and painful behaviors. And unfortunately, people who are emotionally invested with them, who've had a relationship with these high energy people, sometimes they're so high energy, it's like the Energizer Bunny. They're always on the go, go, go. And so there's they can be very rewarding to be with, but really underside is lurking really a sort of rage and anger and hostility and a real toxicity which is pervasive within the borderline narcissist. And I want to focus in on some of the experiences that we see with the borderline narcissist, and that is particularly their habit to betray and sabotage other people's relationships. Now, the borderline is one who engages in a lot of black and white thinking, and will constantly be in the falsely accusative manner of other people. They tend to feel like they have the right to know what you're thinking, feeling, or doing, and really act as if they know you better than you know yourself. And this is because the borderline narcissist has a particular vengeance to control others. They have a penchant with controlling others. They make it their business to be in other people's business, down to the most minute of details. And this can be very, very uncomfortable for those people and very hurtful, because really they have a total and complete violation of others' personal space, their physical space, their emotional space, and make them feel, about yay big, because they will grind people down through their incessant need to control and falsely accuse people really of sabotaging them, when in essence they are projecting this very same behavior onto them. So when they have a penchant for betraying and sabotaging others' relationship, they will get in the way and get in the middle of something that is going along perfectly well and present really kind of like a wedge in between. They'll create a rift, they'll create a conflict. They'll bring up negative information. They'll just try to paint a negative picture. They can be very constantly negativizing or awfulizing or catastrophizing situations, blowing them way out of proportion. Just really just over perception of the negative. Where they just make it this looming negative thing when it really is not such a big deal. And so they tend to focus on this and control others through negativity, sabotaging and really getting involved, getting their place in where they don't belong. And this is how these people feel involved, needed, or necessary, but it's stemming from a real profound insecurity. And this insecurity is to be, the one in control, meaningful, and really attended to, but yet deep inside they feel very unlovable. They feel very unattractive, and they tend to then project that onto other people and make them feel unlovable, unattractive, undesirable, unwanted, and very, very rejected. Very, very abandoned in a very hostile sort of manner. So it can be very confusing, and it can be cause a lot of crazy making, because you tend to think, well, what did I do wrong? And oftentimes the borderline has such high energy that you really can't even have a conversation with them. Their hostility is really above the top. And so they really tend to have quite a degree of self-loathing. And so really and they might tell you, I never felt this way about myself. I never felt attractive. I never felt this. So they will tend to overcompensate in other areas of their life to conceal or cover this up. So, they might be compulsive doers. The borderline can be engaged in a lot of yes or no, black or white thinking. It's all good, it's all bad. So you can't really have a, in the middle sort of peace and harmony with these individuals. You don't have a chance. I mean, no matter what you do, which is validating and positive to them, it's like, you're not going to get any ground with them. It's like an uphill battle where the harder you try, the further down you slip. The harder you try to please them, the tighter the rung gets around your neck. I mean, it's just one of those situations with a personality disordered individual where, the harder you work, the deeper the hole you get into with them. And they are especially big, as this article talks, into the accusations. They are all into the accusations. You lied, you provoked, you did. I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say laughable, but it's such a repeated pattern with them that you really do begin to understand that it has nothing to do with truth. And the borderline can almost be verging on these fits of psychotic rage or psychotic accusations, psychotic meaning breaking from reality, having no basis in reality, having no foundation in reality. So just be very explosive. And this can be really a sort of rage which they are out of control of. And these people can be very out of control of. And I really feel for those people who have had to be in relationship with them, because it is very bizarre, very hurtful, very destructive. And, it can be a very, very painful wound to try to endure. I think also in this article, it talks about being obsessed with the truth and accusing other people of lying. So they can accuse people and sort of plant these seeds which don't even exist. This person, can be all about, wanting a real relationship, and then they tend to twist it and turn it so it's as if you have malice with approach to them, when it's really the other way around. They project this malice onto you, assigning this blame. So I would say of all the character disorders, the borderline narcissist is one of the largest that will really project on a consistent, chronic, and really pattern behavior of false accusations of those other people in their world. And they have a demand to know what other people are thinking or feeling. So they're very demanding. What are you doing? Why did you do this? Very, very demanding and very disrespectful of other people. They're very, very edgy. Very, very caustic, just meaning caustic, very toxic to be around. They're just very, it's very poignant how they can hurt others and really kind of micromanage other people's thoughts. So when you feel like, you're being overly controlled by these individuals, they want to control others, not only their thinking, their feelings, their behaviors, really everything, their perception. So really they're very much into the control aspect, and what this article talks about, thought crimes. Basically, they're very accusative of other people's thoughts and values, even though they can be innocent, benign, and very benevolent, meaning very kind. They tend to project a lot of maliciousness onto other people, which don't even exist. And they will just, can just burst out in these sort of attacks onto people which aren't warranted, which have nothing to do with reality. So it can be very much almost psychotic in the rage, where, you really, you have to witness it. You really have to be grounded with these people. So when it comes to healing and really understanding it, you need to be very grounded, meaning very based in reality, very much based in a sort of calm inner core demeanor, in really beginning to understand that this person is, has an issue which causes this whole bizarre pattern of behaviors, and that disruption is what they're all about. Because if they can get people to be wounded, it's how they feel in control. And because they have really such a lack of self-love, they have really what I would call basically a self-loathing. I mean, it's not even like a self-hatred, but they really have a inner dialogue of never feeling good enough. And so they have to try very, very hard to control others. And they will then, be very, very much into the flaw finding of others. Just even strangers, just, constantly trying to point out and control, in fault finding, very judgmental and very criticism. And so it's not really good to be around these people because they will instill a lot of criticism and judgment, which basically, if you're around these people, it's just going to rub off and it's going to be negative. And oftentimes it's not your values, and it's destructive to be always judging and criticizing. It's not good to get caught up in that analysis. You can't just exist. People can't exist in peace. Very disruptive, and they will always blame you. I mean, they are probably, out of all the personality disorders, the largest of the overt blamers. I mean, they will give, outwardly verbal blaming commands, just making you feel like you're completely at fault, you're completely emaciated, completely just destroyed emotionally. They really are very, in their personality disorder, their brain wiring, in the way that they're thinking is on or off. It's full-blown accusation, and, that sort of gaslighting, which makes you feel like you're the one who has all these issues, when it really is not you who is doing all the feather ruffling. It is actually this person. So they're really, I would say, some of the largest projectors of negativity onto others, which does not exist, and can be very confusing, very bewildering, very hurtful. And so I feel for you if you have been and tried to make positive or make work a relationship with this type of individual. It is very difficult. It requires a lot of work, and it requires a lot of work to heal from and understand and really separate from this individual. So if you can really begin to really separate and separate your feelings, from of yourself from this individual, and realize that it was at the hands of a personality disordered individual that you were caused to have this sort of train wreck of emotion in your life, realize and just, stand up tall in knowing that you have encountered this person. It will give you more gratitude and appreciation for the good people who you will now begin to draw into your life after having experienced this very wounding and destructive type of personality disordered individual. It's peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.